All right. So Chuck and I were in the middle of a conversation, and I'll just catch you up on the beginning of the conversation, and I'll frame it this way: is I've been posting a lot of stuff on social media lately that's been gaining a lot of traction, and a lot of people, including people from my past, have been attacking me personally and saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. I had one guy who I had one guy ready. I had one guy who lived such a life of privilege that his family owns a famous statue in Philadelphia. All right.
Mm.
I'm not going to say which one, but if I told you, you'd be like, oh, I'm like, yeah, exactly. This family is so rich that I visited their house one time and played on the big piano, like from the movie Big, or Tom Hanks and
Oh,
Robert Lozier playing
not
chopsticks.
not
Yeah,
not the big piano, the big piano, right?
the piano. Like I go into this guy's house, and
The panda.
This guy has so much artwork in his house. They're so in the '90s. They're so rich that every individual piece of artwork has its own separate wiring to an alarm. So I walk into this
Mm,
room and I see the big piano,
the panda
right?
eyes piano.
Yeah, yeah. And this guy goes, yeah. So the owner of FEO Schwartz owed his father some money. So he gave him the piano from Big.
Mm,
And now I'm looking at this piano and seeing scuff marks on the keys. And I'm thinking, wow, those are scuff marks from Tom Hanks and Big.
mhm.
I love that movie. I'm the perfect age for that movie. I'm
Yeah.
exactly the right age. We're exactly the right age for that movie. And all of a sudden he flips the light switch on and goes running across the piano. Ding, 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 ding. Next thing you know,
Mm-mm.
me and my future wife are playing chopsticks, recreating that thing,
Of
ding, ding,
course.
ding, 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 ding. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, anyway, so this is the level of privilege that this person grew up with. And this person tells me that I need reprogramming and deprogramming because of all the conspiracy stuff that I've been posting. And the reason why I wanted to frame it this way is because where do we get our news now? Where do we get? That's the question that everybody asks. Where do we get our news? And I'm on this social media every day railing against the mainstream media because someone I know calls it the liberal lying socialist mainstream media because it's just one way. Trump said in
Hmm.
the interview the other day, I won in a landslide and I got 94% bad press. So where do you go for your media? And I will start out and I will say primary sources. I've been saying it for years. Primary sources. X is excellent because you can hear exactly what the politicians themselves are saying, and what the politicians themselves are saying can direct you on what you need to look at to understand what they're saying. How about
Yeah.
you, Chuck?
Well, I actually disagree with that as far as what they're saying now. Politicians, what you would get on X for a while, like so, as soon as like Musk, well, shortly after Musk bought it, till not too recently, you would be able to get an accurate thing. Like say a Spencer Pratt, you get definitely getting accurately what that guy's thinking. But like I was saying to you so many weeks ago, I'm like, hey, I never hear from our governor. I don't know what the guy's saying. The guy's invisible. But now it's an election season. I also posted about this. They're like, now it's just like I just see all I see is Josh Shapiro, Josh Shapiro, Josh Shapiro, and it's lies, 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 lies. Literally, he thinks he's going to stop getting he's going to stop cell phone use in public schools. I'm like, we all have a policy on that. Stop trying to take credit for things you don't do. He thinks he's going to clear up the traffic situation around the stadiums down in South Philly. Really? I don't know how he's going to do that without installing helicopters. Like a helicopter service, like to get you in and that. It's not going to work. So I don't think
You
it's
just have to know how to look. You just have to know how to drive in Philly. That's it. You just have to know how to
right.
drive in Philly.
Yeah, it's always going to be a problem because thousands of people go to the stadiums for games and stuff. What are you going to do? It's part of the city was built for horse and buggy. You're only you're only be able to get so many cars in there. So he's saying all this crap. I don't even think it's him. I think it's staffers saying, "Ooh, what's going to resonate with the people?" Meanwhile, since it's X, like the comments are just like shredding him. So, but the problem with X is like X was awesome, like for like coming into 2024, right? Like I knew about like I beat you to the Butler shooting, right? I remember I told you you're upset because someone else who told you was upset that I beat them to it. I saw it on X in real time. Then the news that'll come out several hours later, and then you can, which confirms some of the facts, or what's going on. But now I swear to God, X is not it's not as good of a source. I don't know if it's turned into an echo chamber, but like it's definitely turned into, you know what it is? The people that I like have turned in very clickbaity. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have to have the revolving light like emoji that's on first, the red light emoji, and then it says breaking, and then you watch a video that happened 6 months ago. You know, like or
I don't follow any of those people.
yeah, but this
I
like
mean,
it seemed to
I follow them, but they don't. They scroll. Dom Luker scroll. Gunther Eagleman scroll. You know what I mean?
those
I
guys
don't
were
follow any
really
of that
good
stuff
for a while though. They were really good for a while. Now it's just clickbait.
for a reason. For a reason to draw you in. But here, let me tell you this. Right. So what you're saying is that you're saying that you disagree with me that X is a good source because of all of the clickbait that's on there. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying it's harder now to get that early line on whatever's going on. There's a lot more noise around those. There's still good sources in there, but there's so much noise around that it's hard to get it.
Well, the thing is you can't rely on the algorithm to send you things.
Right.
You have to go search for it. You have to understand, and the only way to use X as the tool is to understand in real time what's going on. So it takes if you're not paying attention, which you and I are people that pay attention. If
Yeah.
you're somebody who just casually pays attention, it takes a little effort. But everybody should do this. It takes a little effort to first get into the rhythm. But once you get into the rhythm, then you know the sources. You know what's coming up. You know what's going to happen. You know who to go where, see what who's saying. And as far as whether it's them or not, it doesn't necessarily have to be, like the White House. I don't necessarily believe that the White House is Donald Trump. I believe the White House is some 26-year-old team of kids that are really, really creative. That's what I believe the White House Twitter is. You know what I mean? Truth Social, that's Donald Trump. Truth
Yeah.
Social, that's Donald. That's Donald Trump. You know what I mean? But a lot of these, it could be their team. Who's somebody who I follow all the time? Elizabeth Warren. I believe Elizabeth Warren is
I
actually
can't get
tweeting
her
her
off my
stuff.
feed either. Her team posts constantly and it's all bullshit.
Right. But the thing is that what I'm saying is you go to primary sources. If something's happening, like you hear people talk about the SAVE Act, right? People don't know what the SAVE Act is. Go read the SAVE Act. Go read it. Just read it. It's not that
Mhm.
hard. And the thing is a lot of people are intimidated to read primary sources, and the people who write them understand that, and that's why they frame them certain ways. There's a
Mhm.
certain thing known as the illusion of complexity. They make these things appear to be complex, so a lot of people will just go away.
Yeah.
It's like in marketing. In marketing, they don't tell the telemarketer to hang up after the first no. You need like 2 hard no's or 4 soft no's because just
Mhm.
people's no's. People very easily just no, okay, and you can just influence them very, very easily.
Yeah.
So I mean that's what you have to watch out for. But if you pay close attention to exactly what's happening, you can know who to go to, and you can see people who betray you and you can eliminate them. That's another thing. After a while, you can see people who betray you and eliminate them.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny you say that because I've been on an elimination process probably for the past 8 months. Half the podcasters I used to watch, I can't even listen to anymore because I don't even know. It's almost like they didn't believe everything they said 3 years ago. And I'm not going to start naming names on those things, but it's like it's getting harder and harder. Like at this point, I watched like a comedy show that happens to be politically related in the morning, and which is
Mhm.
pretty accurate, but it's a comedy show. I'm only going to learn a couple of nuggets of real stuff if I learn anything. And it's more like it's commentating on stuff I'm already paying attention to in the first place, which so where do I go? Like God, I mean, I know this sounds naive and stupid, but man, I wish I could turn on channel 3 at 6 o'clock and get actually what's going on in the world. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, that's I'm sorry. That's what it's supposed to be. So
Yeah,
when
but
Donald
that's
Trump,
it's never been that way, unfortunately.
yeah, so we talk about what Trump and storming out of this interview that he had the other day. I
Mhm.
mean, you had a nice post about that, like that side by side. It's like, well, there's no evidence of that. Then how do they go on TV and just
See the
say
cop.
that anymore? Huh?
Because and the cop below, you can see the cop is just move
Yeah.
aside, here they come. Because they say there's no evidence, and there are so many people, okay? If you look in that post that I had, I said, I provided you all of the information in this post for you to verify what I'm saying, yet you choose to just say I'm not correct so that you can remain ignorant. And that comment itself got like 60 likes.
Because it was perfect. And the worst part about it is the person I almost commented on it just be like, this is why I don't engage on Facebook anymore. Because you had the person that seemed like she was arguing with you. definitely sounded like she was arguing with you. So you rebutted with that awesome statement and more. And they came back, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually blah, blah. People don't make any sense online anymore. Like the conversation is retarded. You're right. They all have their personal opinion because whatever influence came in at them. And that's go read your bills, go watch videos for yourself, generate your own opinions. But unfortunately, humans are sheep. We are lemmings we are easily led, and it's just impossible to have a real conversation sometimes.
All right. So here's an example of how I do things. Here's an example of how I do things. I guess it was Sunday morning. Sunday morning, I go cut the grass, and it takes me about 2 hours to get my grass cut. So I spent the first 40 minutes listening to Scott Besson being interviewed by Kudlow. Man, I love Scott Besson.
I
Jay
could listen to
Patton,
him. I
he's
was
the
talking to
man.
my dad this morning. We could listen to him all day.
He's awesome. He's all just his
Yeah.
level of confidence. He's got. Oh, let me ask you a question. That takedown.
I genuinely enjoy watching Senate hearings with him, Rubio, Mullen. Oh, it's so much fun.
He just cuts right through. Rubio does too. But anyway, I listened to Scott Besson interview. Then I listened to a Jamie Dimon interview, who's the head of J.P. Morgan,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of very interesting things to say. You can see where the banking system is starting to realize that the Trump system is coming, and they need to get ready for it. So
Yeah.
Jamie Dimon, the head of J.P. Morgan, which was instrumental in the creation of the Fed, is now starting to say, yeah, maybe we need to get away from the Fed.
Yeah,
And then, of
just going
course, he throws in there,
down.
of course, as long as we can just deregulate the banks more. So he's still trying to continue to, but the thing is I
Hey,
paid attention to
look,
that, and
they want money. They want money. They just want money. So yeah, I get
they
it.
just having more money than the majority of Earth isn't enough for them. But anyway, so I listened to that, and then for the next 40 minutes, I listened to Q and aliens.
All right.
You know,
Well, let's wrap this up real quick and let's name a couple sources that we think are still good. Like three things I still genuinely trust. I know it's a comedy show, but Louder with Crowder. Now, if you don't want they're a little down on weed. They're a little they get a little Christiany once in a while. If you don't like I mean, they don't like preach, but whatever. So, but as far as it's kind of like watching Stern when Stern was good. It's the modern morning zoo. But I think their opinions are pretty 95% spot on. And I love that he puts up a list of sources of why he feels the way he feels. So you can fact check him and agree with him or not. Podcast X22. He's getting a little redundant, but his points are rock solid. He talks about finance a lot. He talks about the deep state a lot. I love that. And when it boils down to a general publication, the Epoch Times, there's three places that I go to that I trust. What do you got?
so I would say everyone should watch everything that Promethean Action does.
Oh yeah.
Everything that Promethean Action does, everybody should watch that. Man, I watched a 2-hour breakdown on the Bush family, and it was really just Prescott Bush and Herbert Walker, his dad or his stepfather, and how they with the bank. Anyway, they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some great information. Promethean Action, right? So Promethean Action is one. Now, very mainstreamy that I find entertaining is the Patrick Bet David podcast.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't watch that guy, but the show is great. I mean, very concise, especially
So
Patrick Bet Davis himself.
yeah, so and that's the thing is that Patrick Bet David is a guy who, he came here from Iran. His dad worked a cash register at 7-Eleven. He went into the military. He straightened out his life, started educating himself on how to better. And now this guy, he owns like an insurance empire. And then now he decides with some of his money become a part owner of a franchise in New York. I think he owns part of the Yankees, right? He's a part owner of the Yankees.
PBD's part owner of the Yankees. Where's a better American success story?
And it's an Iranian dude who did it right.
But he's an American.
Oh yeah,
He's
exactly.
all right. So that was two. Just what do you give me a third one? Give me what's a third thing you listen to or watch that you think is maybe a little more off the beaten path?
Something that's off the beaten path. Look, I'm a big fan of the Gateway Pundit.
Oh
I'm a big
yeah.
fan of the Gateway Pundit. If you listen to the Gateway Pundit, Joe Hoft and Jim Hoft, the brothers, I've been fortunate enough to have a few had dinner with Joe Hoft one time, and took
Mhm.
a car ride with him one time. So I've had a few conversations with the guy. He's an interesting guy, real
Yeah, I
neat
got
guy. He's told some really
yeah,
cool stories. And
we got to see him speak in Vegas like a year or so ago,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to have dinner with him the night before. So I got to get to know the man a little bit, and his information is very good. So yeah, I would go with the Gateway Pundit.